Welcome to Seth's Daily Podcast. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. And thank you guys for subscribing. We're blessed enough to have an interview with Dogman researcher and Bigfoot researcher. And also, he's a veteran. And definitely want to thank you for your service, man. Joedy Cook, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Pretty good, brother. Thank you. How you doing?
Doing great, man. And I know you got a bunch of books and you've been on Destination America and stuff like that. What is your favorite thing in doing research on Dogman?
My favorite thing about it is talking to the witnesses, because every case is different. Pretty much like the Bigfoot stuff, everything's basically the same. The encounters are pretty much the same. But when the Dogman stuff, everything is a lot different. Every case is different. It's more interesting. It's more terrifying with the witnesses. That's the biggest thing. People who see Bigfoot, they're not really scared about, it's the awe factor with that. But this is clear terror, that people have. And that's the interesting thing about it. And just the characteristics, are not all the same. So it kind of tells you different parts of the country have a different type of, creature in other parts of the country. That's the interesting part about it. But behavior is basically the same regardless of where it's at.
Yeah, behavior with Bigfoot is usually definitely the same. Absolutely,
Mhm.
Dogman is definitely. I love both cryptid stuff. I mean, I love all cryptid stuff. I love
Mhm.
the Mothman stories and all that, man. And definitely the Dogman stories are very interesting as well. To be honest with you, man, there's a lot of evidence that proves Dogman is real and proves that Bigfoot is real. Do you think that this may be I don't know if you've ever got this question before. This may be a crazy question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Mhm.
Do you think the government made a half man and half dog?
I don't think so. I think Dogman is something that's always been around. It's definitely a flesh and blood canine cryptid. Okay. Um, I did you know I I just can't see the government making something. I mean, I can see the government. 20 years in the army. The government's always looking for a new weapon. But when you're dealing with something, like a dog man, trying to use it as a weapon, you can't make a whole bunch of, because these are problem solving animals. It's kind of like the island of Dr. Monroe, um, where the one kind of figured out it was a chip that's making him do things, and he ends up removing the chip. And it kind of goes to that same factor. They're problem solving. They're going to figure it out. They're going to look at the different, if it takes months or years or whatever, they're going to look at all the weaknesses before they sit there and get themselves uh, released. And I can see the government figuring that out, because you just don't want a bunch of things turning back on you. And, you just don't have a way to, resolve the problem. But I do believe that, the government has probably facilities where they have captured Dogman and captured Bigfoot living in a environment kind of like remember the movie Iceman Cometh, where they found the caveman, they thawed him out and they put him in this little habitat, and he never knew he was in there. Kind of like the same thing. I'm sure they have something like that, dealing with Dogman and Bigfoot and possibly other cryptids. Well, I'm sure they're collecting them, studying them, because the military and the government loves to weaponize stuff. Perfect example. Okay, the bed, the whole bedroom set for the original Exorcist, the little boy. It was based on the true story is based on the little boy. All that stuff is in a warehouse at Scott Air Force Base. So why would you have the bed, the original Exorcist bed, the chairs, the cabinets, dressers and all that stuff on a military base, other than maybe trying to weaponize the darkness of it. So it's interesting. So I think they're playing with it, but I don't think they actually created it.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever? What is the? I thought I was gonna ask. I guess this could be a two-part question. What is the bet? Have you ever seen a picture of Dogman stuff that's made you like that is absolutely they're telling 100% truth and that is absolutely a Dogman?
I've seen pictures that I believe are really were dogmen. Um, I've seen some pictures that um, has never anybody's never seen them. They were shown to us. We never, we don't have possession of them, but it was pretty interesting stuff. Definitely interesting stuff. So there's definitely something to it. Some of the pictures were, like you said, there's one particular guy um, that ended up getting it on a trail cam, but he ended up using oh, I can't remember the name of the brand, but it didn't have the IR on it. It just had regular night vision, on there without the IR. And he ended up catching, and it looked pretty good. It's kind of from a distance. It was kind of like a open spot where the tree where it was up against the tree. It was kind of a little bit open area, and there were some other trees, and it walked. It was on the opposite side of the trees, and it got a really good picture of it. So, um, yeah, I've seen some pretty incredible stuff. I've seen some stuff I think is just BS, but yeah, there's definitely something out there. People are getting some good stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, you see bullshit and everything. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
there's BS, Bigfoot sightings,
Yeah,
there's BS, Mothman sightings, and there's BS every sighting of everything.
yeah. The thing of it is, the biggest problem I think with a lot of this stuff is misidentification. People see something and they catch it just out of the corner of their eye, or they catch it real quick, and it looks like it's something that it's not. That happens all the time. I've even mistakenly seen things that kind of confused me on what it was. But that's kind of like the biggest problem. And plus, when people take photographs of things, especially stuff that's deep in the woods, the problem is you have so much shadow and light there, and sticks and branches and trees. It can make a form to make it look like there's something there that's not there. And that's kind of the biggest other problem. Because your eyes are trained to pick out things that are familiar to you, like body shapes, eyes, nose, things to that effect. I've got a picture of a Bigfoot that was digging in the cemetery. Okay, it's a very good shot of it, and there was a tree line, bush line, right, behind them, and the picture, it looks like there's a little gray alien standing right there. Okay, and you see a man's face, perfect face, nice square jaw, the glasses, the mustache, but that wasn't there. It was pixels from the picture is what made that, and your eyes are picking that out. And see, and that's the problem when people are taking pictures of stuff, their eyes are picking up something that really isn't there because of shadow and light. I'm not saying that it's on everything. I mean, I took pictures of stuff, back in the 80s and the 90s, using a digital camera, and just regular film camera, and saying, oh wow, man, there's something here. And then, when you get further into the 2000s, and you get better equipment, and you can sit there and analyze the picture, and you realize it's just a shadow. you know that's
Yeah,
where you get your blur swatch and stuff like that from.
yeah. As a former ghost hunter, I definitely understand what you're saying
Mhm.
because there's been some times where we get what thinks is like mist, and it's really like a shadow, like a kind of like a shadow. It's there's like a shadow kind of stuff,
That
and it's
or
like,
dust blowing, dust,
yeah,
being picked up by the air, things like that.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and the biggest problem is, you got to have a very open mind and you have to be very skeptic because if you go out to the field, looking for Bigfoot or Dogman, you're going to find all kinds of evidence of Bigfoot and Dogman there because that's what you want. Every single indention in the ground is going to be a footprint. Every broken branch is going to be, from Bigfoot. If you find some little bit of white hair laying on the ground, which was the belly of a deer, oh, it's Bigfoot hair. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to be very skeptic on the way you do things.
Absolutely, man. I think a lot of Bigfoot researchers could learn something from you from that for sure. Because I know they, I'm not gonna say any names, but some of them think if a branch gets broken, just a little bitty branch like this
Mhm.
big, like this big, like this length, that
Well,
it's Bigfoot.
the, the thing of it is, when it comes to like the broken branches and different, what do you call them, tree formations, stick formations, you'd be surprised what Mother Nature can make. When a storm hits, the wind, you'd be surprised what kind of formations they can make. Obviously there's some stuff that you come up against, you know somebody put it there. Somebody put it there. But when it comes to tree formations and stick formations and things like this is where my biggest problem that I have is if Bigfoot is putting a formation together with sticks, okay, saying this is my territory. Well, every set you find would be the same, okay? And you find one particular set that looks like this, another one that looks like this, then you must have, 3 4 other Bigfoots out there in the same area saying, hey, this is my spot. you know if they're if you have all of these stick formations that are continuous looking the same, you know every time you're in this particular area as you're going through that area, and they're all the same, then yeah, that makes sense. There's something marking its territory. But if you find one that looks one way and you find one that looks another way, you know it may not be Bigfoot. It could be anything. I've personally seen the U.S. Forestry Service make stick formation. I've seen them do it and laugh about it, to play with big uh, research. So, and you have to watch that. And you have people that's out there doing it. And especially like with when you find the rocks next to a, creek or river or something, the rocks that are piled up on top of each other. Well, anybody could have done that, you know. So you got to be very cautious on what you look at and call Bigfoot because, you know, has anybody ever seen Bigfoot, make a stick formation or a tree formation or, the rock? I don't know if anyone's ever seen any of that stuff. Now, when you find a tree that's upside down in the hole, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah,
Somebody strong did that.
yeah, definitely more than
Yeah,
likely either a bear or Bigfoot.
bear wouldn't have done it. A bear couldn't, pick a tree, uproot it, and turn it upside down. Um,
Yeah, they could like a small tree possibly.
yeah, could.
Yeah. Now when it comes to the like when you see like a bear walking and stuff and people possibly confusing them with Bigfoot, if you look at a bear walking, they walk weird.
They
So I
wobble.
mean,
Yeah, they wobble when they walk. I mean, they got very short legs, and the thing of it is, bears bears' front paws are very much like a dog. Okay, they can bend at the elbow, kind of bend a little bit at the paw, or they'll walk with the arms more like a straight out. They can't they can't bend their arms. They don't have like a elbow like we do. And that's the problem. But their legs are much very short, and they can take smaller steps. That's why it kind of looks like they wobble when they walk.
Yeah, I think definitely people are seeing Bigfoot walking instead of a bear. I know a lot of people like to say that it's a bear, though.
Well, the thing of it is, the, you know what a bear looks like, all right? You know what an elephant looks like. You know what a deer looks like. You know what a giraffe looks like. So when people see something and they said, this was not a bear, this was a Bigfoot, people know what these animals look like. So they see something that is not, normal. And they're able to sit there and see these things and get a description from them. So that's what makes credible, when it comes to some of these sightings, because people know what all these different animals look like. You know, you see a wolf. I mean, there's times that you can see a domestic dog, like a husky or a German Shepherd, depending on what color is of it, can easily think, oh, it's a wolf or a coyote. You can get confused, but in general what these animals look like.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't. I know people want to hear about your shows that you did on Destination America. I mean, them shows have did very well. Your books have did well. Let's talk a little bit about your show on Destination America.
The I did a lot of work for Destination America. I did a lot of the research for the show. I gave them a lot of information on different cryptids and things. And I did a couple of them. I did one on the Ohio Grassman. I did one on Hellhound, and I can't remember what the other one I did for them. But the thing about TV is, they're kind of coaching you on what to say, and it's just like, they like when we did the Ohio Grassman, they were talking about an encounter, and you can get hurt, or even killed depending on the situation. They were kept kind of pushing me to say it could kill you, it could kill you. And it's like, well, yeah, he could kill you, but he's not a killer. He's just not going to go tear your cabin floor off and walk in and kill you. Okay. You got to give them a reason, to put their life in fear before they would, do something like kill you. And it's just, it got to the point. It's like, we need you to say this. So and that was the problem with Destination America is, they wanted it to be so dramatized, the way you're talking, that for good, good entertainment. Like when I did Monster Quest, okay, about the Ohio Grassman, I was very angry, when I saw that show for the first time, because they cut so much information out, vital information out. Okay. Perfect example was when I found a skull of a baboon, okay, up in an area called Buzzard's Rock. Okay. And this was before they put the little watch area where you can go up there and and look. I mean, before you had to climb up through the crevice to get there. And I found the baboon skull, and I noticed there was a hole in the back of the head where it was looked like maybe a 22 round. It was probably someone's pet that got so too big or dangerous, and they killed it and dumped it out in the woods. And I was trying to explain that, and I was also trying to explain Ohio, especially Adam and Scioto County in Ohio, are very well known for the legal and illegal exotic animal trade. Okay, people have owned gorillas in Ohio. Okay, so and I was trying to explain that this baboon skull was probably someone's pet and it got, like I said, got too big or got too aggressive, and they killed it. But if something like that was seen out in the woods, because baboons get big, you know, people would see it, they would be confused because you know, they've never seen anything like that before. They see this large, hairy, ape type creatures with big teeth growling at them. Okay. So, and I try to explain that in Monster Quest. Well, they weren't going to have anything of it. You know, they cut all that out. And so, oh, you know, are they baboons running around in Ohio? I mean, it was just so stupid. I was just so angry with them. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to do another show with you. I mean, because you're misleading the people on your shows. And I was just really angry about that because, like you said, they left out so much really good information to explain certain situations and explained certain things that were going on about Grassman in Ohio, especially at Salt Fork Park, that they didn't want to just put it in there. It just wasn't good entertainment.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot with television. They want they don't want the truth. They want to have the entertainment level at the top
Mhm.
notch.
Yeah, it's like I just filmed for um, Mysteries Decoded uh, last October on a Dogman show, and there's a couple other Dogman researchers on there, but I got to do the night investigation. And it's like, wow, this is gonna be cool. We're gonna be out here like all night and stuff, and you know, this thing's gonna be great. And it's just like, we were probably out there film. We were probably on site. I want to say maybe an hour, hour and a half. Okay, but we actually probably filmed about 30 to 40 minutes for the segment. Okay, and we stayed in an area about 20-25 yards, and that was it. Okay, all we did was stay at one area and cross the road and go to another area, and they're making it out that we're there, you know 3-4 hours at night, and it's just like, this is not how things happen. I set a trail cam up. Well, they didn't really care if the trail cam was on or off. You know, it's you know, I mean, it was nuts, and we filmed it right there at um, Knob Creek National Forest. What was really interesting about that is um, they were supposed to be there like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I got there, and they didn't end up showing up to about 9:30 in the evening. So I was there all that time waiting for them. So I decided to walk around the woods, and there was one point where a big like tree branch came flying right in front of me. You know, Not a real big thick one, but just a good sized one. And there I heard it like growl. It was off to my right, and I turned around and I saw this large black object ground. Okay, now this is October, so everything's like dead. Okay, the trees, leaves on the ground, everything was almost like a gray image of everything. And you see this black object laying there. Okay, he was about, I want to say maybe 40, 50 yards away. I had a really good Nikon camera and with a really good lens. So I took a picture, just kind of like at the position I was at. And then I zoomed in and I got this face looking through the branch, and it's a really good flare on. And it's got his hand like this over its mouth. You see the eyes, you see the color of the skin, you see the hair. And then the second and third picture, kind of the one looks like You see the face, and the body's kind of almost like a chimpanzee's body, and where it's kind of like crouched like this. And then the third picture, it's almost like it has a snout to it. I mean, these are pretty good pictures. And that was at the site. So it's like I showed them. I said, when they got there, I took them to the same exact site where everything took place. And I say, here's the pictures. We lined them up, and they're not even going to use those for the show. I say, here's evidence of something. Here's the site. I took you right to where this thing was laying. I mean, it's nuts. These shows, are not. They're not. They're in it for entertainment purposes. So uh, I don't know.
Yeah, I completely understand, man, because you actually want to prove that Dogman is real and the Bigfoot's real, and these people are not taking it as serious as what you are.
Well, they are now. Okay. I mean, if you notice, they're getting a lot of these stations are getting rid of their paranormal stuff. Okay. You see the paranormal stuff's gone. It's gone. There's just so much of it out there. It's being saturated with. Um, I know there's two new Bigfoot shows coming out. Two new ones. That's coming out. And
What channels?
uh,
What channels?
I'm not sure what they are, and stuff. I'm signed with a production company, and we're working on a project. And I know they've got they've got two Bigfoot shows coming out, and they're going to be great. I mean, they're well, obviously they're going to make Finding Bigfoot, look like Disneyland, but it's these are going to be pretty decent show. I think one's basically filling all about Bigfoot, and I think the second one's probably dealing with Bigfoot and some other cryptids other than Dogman. I think that how it is. I'm not sure. I didn't get to go too much in detail with them on what it was.
Yeah, that's awesome though, man. We definitely need more serious researchers for sure.
Well, the thing of it is, networks they're going towards cryptids. Cryptids is the big hot thing now. Dogman is the most hottest thing right now, and everybody is trying to capitalize on the Dogman stuff. Okay. I mean, our organization, when all this stuff happened, I mean, I literally had 5 production companies that work with various networks, from Travel Channel, Disney, um, Discovery, Animal Planet, and another one I can't remember off the top. Or like, we saw your site, we love your stuff, we want to do something billing on Dogman, we wanted to put it, something out about it, and it's just, it's hot. The subject is hot, and people are loving so uh they're going to get their fill of Dogman stuff. They're because it needs to be out there, because like you said, it's one of the newest, hottest cryptids out there. And the thing about Dogman and Bigfoot, or Dogman and werewolves, that is that's true nightmare stuff. True nightmare stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I
You
think
know,
if I seen one, I'd poop my pants.
yeah. I mean, it's truly nightmare. Yeah. And the thing of it is, I mean, Disney's coming out with a werewolf movie. Okay. They just came out with one werewolf movie that was just recently released. Let's see, there's another one that's getting ready to be another werewolf movie getting ready to be released. So it's I mean, it's crazy. I mean, people are jumping in it big time. I mean, Disney of all people, is doing a werewolf movie.
Wow.
Which I think is really, really neat.
Yeah. Definitely will make things bigger in the Dogman world for sure. I mean,
Well, Dogman and werewolves it's all connected.
absolutely.
But like you said, Bigfoot's done its thing. It's done its thing. They want something. People want something. People want to be scared. They don't want to be entertained. That's the big thing.
Yeah,
And they know that. They know that people want to be scared.
definitely. And man, you got the biggest Dogman research organization in the whole entire world, I believe. And if you
Yeah,
want to talk
yeah.
about your organization and the work you've done, and also what is the closest that you've came to Dogman that you like distance wise?
Our organization, we have about 800 members worldwide. Okay, we have a lot of researchers. We have a lot of field investigators. Okay, we have chapters just on every continent that's out for Greenland. We have chapters, like you said, in South America. We have them in Canada. We have them in the UK, Western Europe, India. We have them in Australia, New Zealand. Um, we just got one in Africa. We had some people out there that they were seeing something that they like a werewolf out there, and they asked if they can be part of the organization and keep up on the research, fill us in, and they've been filling us in with some pretty interesting stuff. So that's kind of interesting. So like I said, we get a lot of good stuff coming in. We get 10 to 15 emails a day with report, which isn't really bad, for the size of the organization. And this is just not from the US. This is all over the world, that we get stuff. But yeah, it's we don't post a whole lot of stuff on Facebook. Or a lot of the different regions, they'll post a lot of stuff, but the main one we don't, because we want people to go to the website and look at those stuff that's on the reports that are being posted on the website, and the updates. So as far as Dogman, I had a sighting of something that looked very familiar to a Dogman. It was at Daniel Boone National Forest.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very wicked place.
That ain't too far, man. That
Huh?
ain't too far from where I live.
Oh, what's that area, that town right there?
Slade?
Huh?
Slade?
No, it's
Are you talking about Knott County?
no, it starts with a B.
Breathitt County?
No, I'll think of it here in a minute. We that little town there. It's just a wicked little town itself. But
Bardstown?
no, I can't. Like I said, I can't remember off the top of my head what the. I want to say Bellbrook, but that's not right. But anyhow,
Oh,
huh?
I know here in Knott County there was a reported Dogman sighting, but our town's called Hyman.
Mhm. We did we did Bigfoot hunts up there, and did some conferences there for a couple of years in a row. Like I said, I can't remember the name of the area off the top of my head. It will come to me. But I was in Daniel Boone National Forest, and they got like three trails that go up there. They got like a lower, a middle, and an upper.
Are you talking
And
about Beattyville?
no, what's that double A highway goes right into it.
Hmm. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, because the town itself is pretty decent. Um,
Barberville.
can't remember. Um, can't remember. Like you said, I can't remember the name of
Yeah.
the name of the town there anymore.
Yeah.
Moorhead, Kentucky.
Oh, Moorhead. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I know.
Moorhead.
Yeah.
That town's wicked. I mean, that town has more people disappear in that town. There's supposed to be a UFO crash there. NASA put a dish up there, a communication dish. Of all places, they put it there, Moorhead. I mean, it's just alien abductions. I mean, just some weird stuff. But I was in Daniel Boone National Forest, and I was on um, the second trail. The we were we were pretty far in. We were coming around a bend, and as we were coming around, because we had lights on our hats and stuff, and flashlights, because it was pretty dark. And as we came around the bend, we saw it that caught the eyes of a deer that was right there. And the road, how the trail goes, when the trail would have been, he would have been like right off there to the left. And if you would have kept on the trail, there's like bushes there, and if you would have stayed on the trail, you would pass the bush. But the deer saw us, and he jumped. And as he was jumping, this large arm grabbed the deer, and you saw the side of the head because our flashlight was right on it. I, saw like eye pointed ears, snout of this thing, and the long fingers, and it had the deer, and you heard this screech of the deer, and we hauled our head. We weren't going any further. That I, I really believe it was a dog man. Now the year before that, the people from Flair was out there with us because Flair was making a new handheld um, flare that's kind of like on the Apache helicopter. It's more for uh, law enforcement and fire. It's not nothing I think was going to be sold to the civilian population, just more for like units and stuff like that, hook onto their vehicles. And there we were coming down a trail, and there's this open spot that was off to the left, this open field. So they put the camera down there, and they seen something dark that was up against a tree. Okay, so this thing, this thermal imaging was so good, it was able to tell the distance and size and things like that. And whatever this thing was like 4.5 feet kneeling down. So I said, okay, let me run out to the field, see if I can get a look. Because it was definitely a live object. So when I got like halfway to the field, this thing stood up, and they measured it at like 8.5 feet, and it moved back behind the tree. So I ended up coming back towards where the team was. And as I was doing that, it came back out on the tree. Except now Flair's got all of this on film. Okay? And so it kept playing and playing, every time I got forward, it would hide, come back. So I don't know what that thing was. But like I said, it was 8.5 feet. So, you know, a Bigfoot. 'Cause I know there's Bigfoot sightings in that park. You know, I mean, it's just a lot of weird crap takes place there.
There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on a lot of places here in Eastern Kentucky, to be honest with you, man. There's Bigfoot sightings all over the place around here. And we have UFO sightings. I've seen a UFO here before, actually.
I did an investigation out on the eastern part of Kentucky, up towards the West Virginia border. I can't remember the name of the town for the life of me because was this
Pikeville?
was huh?
Pikeville?
I don't know. I can't remember. There's this guy that had a live feed that he would do 24 hours a day on his property. Okay, because of the Bigfoot sightings. And on one of the occasions that you heard a dog bark, and the dog was barking and barking, and then you just heard the dog scream like it hurt really bad, and then the dog shut up. And apparently, whatever killed this dog dragged the dog with the chain in that dog house up the hill like a half mile. And they found the house and the chain, but they didn't find the dog. So they have cows on their property and horses, but none of the cows or the horses would drink at this pond. They would have to bring in water and troughs so they would drink it. They would not go up towards where that water hole was because there was something there that they were so afraid of. And we set a bait trap out, with the trail cam, didn't get anything. But like you said, the cows and the horses, they wouldn't go past a certain point. They knew that there was something there. Like I said, this was in Eastern Kentucky. So, but like I said, this guy, he had like a YouTube channel or something like that, or website or something. I can't remember. And he had a live feed that he was running 24 hours a day to catch. And you can go on it and watch. And that was the interesting thing about it.
Oh, is it still up?
What's that?
Is it still up?
I don't know. Like I said, this was a few years ago. I doubt it. I don't think he's even on that property anymore.
Wow, man, that's definitely very interesting, man. I know here in Eastern Kentucky, there's a lot of people that have sightings, but they won't tell you or anything because they want to protect Bigfoot. Because they believe, I don't know what to believe about Bigfoot, but they believe he's half human, and they call him the Mountain Man.
Yeah, my dad grew up in Hazard, Kentucky.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he was a coal miner.
That's right. That's right here, man. My fiance's from there.
Harlan County. Yeah, Harlan County. Him and all of my uncles, they were all coal miners there, and my dad was a Episcopalian minister, and it's just yeah, I've seen the picture, man. It's like, man, there's like nothing there, nothing there. When he married my mom, my mom's like, no, we're moving. I'm not living in a cabin that has nothing. So they end up moving to Cincinnati and stuff. And my dad, got a job up there. My mom got a job and stuff. But we used to go down to Harlan County all the time, to see my grandparents. Had that old wooden bridge you had to walk across to get to the house and stuff. Yeah,
man. They're definitely nothing like Eastern Kentucky.
I never had an issue with it, because
I love Eastern Kentucky.
It's my blood. I'm a city boy. I grew up in Cincinnati, but my family is from Harlan County. My great let's see, it would have been my father's great grandfather. Yeah, my father's no, let me think here. It either was my dad's grandfather or great grandfather was one of the first doctors in Harlan County. He built the first hospital there. So, yeah. So that's kind of interesting history there. That my family had, that was built, had their first hospital built.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And, Harlan County actually has some very interesting sightings there of Bigfoot, UFOs, and Dogman.
They have all kinds of. I mean, Eastern Kentucky just has a lot of weird stuff all around going on. Because if you sit there and think about it, a lot of minerals are in that area. A whole lot of minerals are in that area. So, and there's a lot of granite down there too, and that granite, picks up that energy, the paranormal energy, and it also it's almost like a radio wave. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, man. If you should definitely do. I'm not sure if you did a Bigfoot hunt in Harlan County before, but I mean, man, it's definitely a hotbed for sure.
I did it in Moorhead. Did it in Moorhead. It was funny. You know who John Tenney is?
John, who's that?
John Tenney.
Nah.
John Tenney's he's almost like he knows a lot about secret societies and things like. Okay, he's a paranormal. Oh, are you there?
Yeah.
Something happened. Um, he was on the TV show Ghost Stalker. Okay, he was part of that show. So John Tenney and I were down in Moorhead on doing a Bigfoot hunt, and there was this road, right? And the cars would come down, and there was this dark object standing there, and it looked like it would come out to the road, and every time a car came up, it would go back. And we're like watching this thing, and it was like, man, this thing is it's showing itself, and then when the car gets ready to come up, it hides, you know. And we're like watching this, man. We're like, oh, dude, we gotta go up there. And we're getting closer and closer. It's what it was. There was a sign there, and the headlights hitting it kind of made it expand out to the road and come back in. It was like, oh man, that was crazy. We're like, well, we're not gonna tell anybody about this because we thought this was a Bigfoot sighting. We're seeing it, and stuff. It was fun. It was fun, yeah.
You're 100% right about Moorhead, though. Actually, at the university, there was a supposed girl that committed suicide back in the 40s or 50s, and her spirit supposedly can be heard screaming at the dorms and at
Was
the girl dorms. And
Well, that's
Moorhead.
where NASA put the either a telescope or a radio dish. I can't remember what it was that NASA put there in Moorhead, and it's like, why of all places, why would they put it there at Moorhead? But like I said, there's been a known UFO crash there. There's a guy that I don't know if he still has, but at one time he had a live radio feed or video feed of the site where the crash actually happened. There was supposed to be a live alien that lived and survived and escaped from there. Um, there's people that saw a woman get abducted by aliens. There's people that were missing and would just show up out of nowhere and had no idea they were missing, and people was like, where you been? He goes, I nowhere. I just walked down to the hardware store. And he goes, no, you've been gone for 3 years. There was one, somebody was telling me that there was a woman that was in a bank, and as she was walking out of the bank here, they have her on video with a timestamp in the bank, opening the door and walking out, but the video outside the door doesn't show her come out. And apparently she's never ever been seen again. Just crazy stuff like that. Forehead.
Yeah. There's a
And
story of. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
no, I'm just saying when you go in that town, it's like going into Point Pleasant. It's that heavy, heavy feeling.
Yeah. Point Pleasant.
Yeah, it's really heavy feeling, and it's just you're uncomfortable, man, the whole time you're there.
Yeah. I know there was a story of a UFO abduction of a woman, like seen in the air or something, like going into a UFO and screaming,
Yeah,
"Help me! Help me! Help me!"
yeah. That's the one that she was. There was people working on a roof, and the woman comes running down the road, screaming, and she ends up going into the wood line, into the woods, screaming, and that's when they saw her being abducted, being pulled up to a spacecraft. Yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely, man. And tell people about. Definitely want to have you on again for sure, man, and go in more depth about, like, because I know you're gonna have stuff. coming out every week and stuff like that, because you do a lot of work in the Dogman and Bigfoot research. And tell people where they can find your organization, your Dogman.
Yeah, they can go www.northamericandogmanproject.com. You can find the website, or just type in, Dogman / werewolf, and if you Google it, it'll bring it right up, or like the first right when you come in there. You can find us on Facebook. We have a main NADP page. We have regional pages. If you just type in North American Dogman Project, it'll just bring up all of them. So you can reach us through there if you have any, questions or reports, or, just inquiries. You can contact us there. You can contact us through the website, through there. Our membership is on hold right now, because we just got so many projects that's going on right now. We're just kind of holding membership, and we'll eventually reopen it here, probably in a couple months.
Absolutely, man. And the link for your website will be in the description for sure on the YouTube video. And I want to thank Joedy Cook, Dogman researcher and Bigfoot researcher, and also more importantly, a veteran. And definitely want to thank you for your service, man. Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
You guys are heroes for sure. And this has been Seth's Daily Podcast. Y'all have a good night, and God bless.